This is the story of Joseph, a story about dreams, betrayal, and forgiveness. And believe me, Joseph's life was anything but easy. But through every twist and turn, something amazing was happening behind the scenes. Joseph was one of 12 brothers, and his father, Jacob, loved him more than any of the others. To show it, Jacob gave Joseph a special coat. Not just any coat, but one made with bright, beautiful colors. It was the kind of gift that made everyone jealous. But Joseph had something else that made him stand out. Dreams. Big dreams. Strange dreams. In one of them, Joseph saw himself standing tall while his brothers bowed down to him. And when Joseph told them about it, they were furious. Who does he think he is? Our king? Their jealousy kept growing, until one day it boiled over. Joseph's brothers were out tending the family's sheep, and when they saw Joseph walking toward them in his fancy coat, they made a plan. "Let's get rid of him," they said. They grabbed Joseph, tore off his coat, and threw him into a deep, dark pit. At first, they wanted to leave him there to die. But then, they saw a group of traders heading to Egypt, and for a handful of silver coins, they sold their own brother as a slave. With Joseph gone, they took his coat, covered it in animal blood, and told their father a lie, that Joseph had been killed by a wild animal. Jacob was heartbroken. Meanwhile, Joseph's life was about to take a completely unexpected turn. Down in Egypt, Joseph was sold to a man named Potiphar, a powerful official in Pharaoh's court. Even though Joseph was a slave in a foreign land, he worked hard and earned Potiphar's trust. Everything Joseph touched seemed to succeed because God was with him. But then, Joseph faced a terrible injustice. Potiphar's wife falsely accused him of something he didn't do, and Joseph was thrown into prison. Another pit. Another betrayal. Still, even in prison, Joseph didn't lose hope. He stayed faithful, and once again, people noticed. Before long, Joseph was put in charge of the other prisoners, and that's where things took a surprising turn. One day, Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, had two strange dreams. Dreams no one could explain. That's when someone remembered Joseph. "There's a man in prison who understands dreams," they said. Joseph was brought before Pharaoh, and with God's help, he explained the meaning. The dreams warned that Egypt would have 7 years of plenty, lots of food and great harvests, followed by 7 years of terrible famine. If they didn't prepare, everyone would starve. Pharaoh was so impressed, he put Joseph in charge of storing food and preparing for the famine. In one moment, Joseph went from prisoner to second in command over all of Egypt. And sure enough, everything happened just as Joseph said. After 7 good years came 7 years of famine. Back in Canaan, Joseph's brothers were starving. They came to Egypt to buy food, not knowing the powerful man they bowed before was their long-lost brother. When Joseph saw them, all the memories came rushing back. The pit, the betrayal, the years of suffering. But instead of taking revenge, Joseph forgave them. He told them, "You meant to harm me, but God used it for good, to save many lives." Joseph's story is about more than dreams and betrayal. It's about trusting God when life takes you to places you never expected. It's about believing that even when people hurt you, God can still turn things around for something good. Joseph went from the pit to the palace, not because life was easy, but because God was with him every step of the way. That's the story of Joseph, a story of hope, forgiveness, and how even the hardest moments can lead to something beautiful.